Are you going to get rid of the Tesla and the Starlink service that you have here at the White House?
No, I haven't heard that. I mean, I may move the Tesla around a little bit, but I don't think we'll be doing that with Starlink. It's a good service.
Where are you going to move it to? Move it around? What do you mean?
I have a lot of locations.
Actually, about the Tesla.
I had so many locations, I don't know what to do with them all.
About the Tesla, did you ever see Elon Musk get physical with the Treasury Secretary?
No, I didn't.
And I tried to
They
ask...
did have an argument, but I didn't see a lot of physicality there.
And there was this New York Times report that he did not want to talk about, Elon Musk, that alleged that he, towards the end of his time in the White House, was blurring the lines between recreational use of drugs and medicinal. Do you think he ever had drugs here at the White House?
I really don't know. I don't think so. I hope not. Look, I wish him well. You understand. We had a good relationship, and I just wish him well. Very well, actually. Yeah.
Mr. Gomez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, how are you doing?
So far, so good.
Okay, I was just curious because I know Elon Musk body checked you at the White House. I just no animosity to Elon Musk, right?
You know that?
That's what I heard.
So you believe
That's what I heard.
You believe what you read on Breitbart is
well,
what
listen,
you're telling us, Congressman.
I didn't know if it was too sensitive for you. I won't ask that question, but let me move on.
I will take South Carolina over South Africa any day.
Mr. Secretary,
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a little bit of good news when it comes to this beef between Elon Musk and President Trump, in which you had Elon Musk go on an unhinged attack against the president, a personal attack, including accusing the president of essentially being involved in kid diddling with Jeffrey Epstein, because Elon, at least initially, claimed that, you know, he's upset with the big, beautiful bill. Now, more information has come out to suggest that that's not really what Elon Musk is upset about, or put it this way, that's not the only thing that he's upset about. He may be upset about the bill, but Elon has had some issues with some of the Trump officials or the anti-Elon Trump allies within the administration who have essentially been undermining him. Like, for example, when it comes to his pick for NASA administrator, Jared Isaacman. And after President Trump nixed his nomination for NASA administrator, it just so happens that Elon lost it, right? That's when he lashed out and claimed that, you know, he's upset with the big, beautiful bill. Now, everybody should be familiar with the story. Everybody should be familiar with what was said. And it looks like, who knows, there may be some forgiveness happening. There may be some reconciliation between President Trump and Elon, because President Trump has come out and spoken about the possibility of forgiving Elon and kind of what happened. So I want to go ahead and play this clip because it really sounds like President Trump is open to the possibility of having Elon come back into the fold. Take a look.
Is there anything that you can do to forgive him? Could you see that happening?
Well, look, I have no hard feelings. You know, I was really surprised that happened. He went after a bill that's phenomenal. It's the best thing we've ever signed in this country, and that's phase one. Phase two, phase three. All of a sudden, is, you know, it all comes together. It's coming together so well. And when he did that, I was not a happy camper. So it's too bad.
You said he had problems. What kind of problems? I mean, is it the drugs?
I don't know what his problem is, really. I don't know. I haven't thought too much about him in the last little while, but the bill is so good. When he went after the bill, this bill is going to turn around this country so fast your head will spin. It's good for everyone. It's also a tax cut. It's a massive tax cut. It's an extension of debt, which we need. We have to get that. And then we're going to start paying off debt at record levels. It's tariffs on certain people. It's, by the way, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security. You know,
all your promises.
Yeah. And I mean, it's no tax on overtime. If a worker works overtime, there's no tax. That's going to be a great stimulant for the country. No, I think the bill is great, and
he just didn't.
I think he feels very badly that he said that, actually.
And maybe it was something else. I mean, he had the fight with Scott Bessent outside your office.
Yeah, well, they had not a fist fight, you know, people, but I guess they had a little bit of a shouting match. But that's
Did you hear it?
That's typical. I heard a little bit. that's sort of typical about,
Yeah.
that happens.
You were very kind to him. I saw you together, and I think he treated you a bit like a father. And
I was disappointed
yeah,
in him, but it is what it is. That happens. Things like that happen. I don't blame him for anything. That I was a little disappointed.
could you reconcile?
Say it?
Could you reconcile with him? Do you think? Could you forgive him?
I guess I could, but we have to straighten out the country.
Yeah.
And my sole function now is getting this country back to a level.
Yeah, so in my initial reaction to Elon Musk lashing out at President Trump, I thought that, you know what, I'm not sure if this can actually be fixed, okay? I'm not sure if President Trump will forgive Elon, because what Elon did was so unhinged, was just like, okay, maybe he's not a guy that you want to bring back in the fold. He's not a guy you can trust completely, and who knows, maybe complete trust is impossible, but it does seem like President Trump is going a lot soft on Elon than he usually does when it comes to people who cross him, right? I mean, we've seen people cross the president before, and he just goes scorched earth on those people. But he's not doing that with Elon, okay? He didn't do that when Elon initially lashed out, and he's not doing that now. It really does sound like President Trump is just disappointed, right? Like, I believe that President Trump saw Elon Musk as a son, right? I mean, they were calling him Uncle Elon, okay? I mean, he was close. He was in the family pictures. President Trump was running around with Elon's son. I mean, like, it seemed like a very close relationship, right? A lot closer than, a lot of the relationships that President Trump has. I mean, it seemed like a special thing. So that's why I think President Trump in this situation is kind of weird, because it's almost kind of like disappointed grandpa, right? Like, that's the kind of vibes I'll get from President Trump. Like, oh, my son went rogue, right? Like, that's kind of what it seems like. He doesn't really want to attack Elon. He doesn't really want to say too much. And that is very different from how he's handled past feuds before the past. Like, for example, Marco Rubio, you guys remember Little Marco and Ted Cruz. They really got personal, right? That was like a blood feud, right? That was happening within the Republican primary back in 2015, legendary times, right? 10 years ago. But, hey, President Trump has shown that I guess he can be a forgiving person, because look at Marco Rubio right now, right? I mean, he's one of the top officials in the Trump administration. Ted Cruz and President Trump, at least as far as I know, they're okay, right? They're cool, right? So maybe this can be worked out, right? And maybe it's being worked out sooner than I thought, because Elon is signaling that he wants to get back in the good graces of the president, because he has admitted that he regrets some of his posts about President Trump last week. He says they went too far. Now, this is not a full-throated apology, but it looks like he's kind of moving in that direction.
At 3:04 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Elon Musk wrote the following, quote, "I regret some of my posts about President Trump last week. They went too far." Now, this was a message to his 220 million followers on the social media platform he owns, intended to express some remorse about his viral internet feud with the President of the United States. Now, among Musk's posts in question was a claim that President Trump would have lost the 2024 election without him, and that the president is in the Jeffrey Epstein files, which was deleted by Mr. Musk. My panel is back with me now. And Jeff Mason, the Wall Street Journal first reported, and CNN is now reporting as well, that part of why Elon Musk backed off his harshest criticisms of the president is because he got a phone call from Susie Wiles, the chief of staff, and the vice president, J.D. Vance, saying, you got to fix this.
Yeah. I've spoken to a bunch of sources on this lately, too, and they've been saying that there's going to be an effort to create a reconciliation. So it seems to be happening. What does seem striking to me, though, about his message is that he wasn't specific about which tweets or posts on X last week that he regretted. Did he regret suggesting that the president should be impeached? Did he regret the one that you showed about saying he wouldn't have won without him? Wasn't very, didn't get down into the granular details on that. But I think broadly, and this may be one of the reasons, along with the China deal, why the market is up today, he knows, the president knows, and people around them know that it is in their interests, both of them, for the feud not to continue.
It reminds me of in school, like in elementary school, where you do something wrong. Not that I ever did, but where you have to go to the blackboard and write "I'm sorry" like 100 times. It felt like that sort of exercise that we saw on social media.
I found it interesting that particularly for Team Trump, the response was diplomacy. It wasn't crush Musk. It was, let's see if we can go through some back channels and work it out and get them both on better footing. I also think what's interesting, Elon Musk is saying I went too far on social media with my feud. It doesn't seem that he's particularly walking back some of his concerns about Trump policies. For example, the example of the reconciliation bill.
Yeah, which started it all. I should add, Dave Weigel, that the New York Post is reporting that the president told them, quote, "I thought it was very nice that he did that," meaning that Elon posted his, I think it's an apology, his regrets about his posts.
Oh, yes, and the president maintains relationships or forgives people if they've insulted him before. He does it all the time. There also was an effort, I don't think it went very far, but Ro Khanna told me he was back-channeling to Elon in order to convince him, if you're this angry, you should be supporting Democrats in the midterms. But Elon's politics have moved so far away from the Democratic Party, not to bring up the entire immigration discussion again, but look at his posts. This is not somebody who's eager to support a blue wave in 2026. So where was he going to land? Not with them.
Yeah, I mean, I asked Bernie Sanders about that over the weekend, and he was like, yeah, I don't think so for those reasons. Real quick.
Very unlikely. No, I mean, I think it's also pretty clear who went too far in this, right? I mean, usually we're reading Donald Trump's posts and thinking, or President Trump's posts and thinking this is very outside of normal, or sometimes, certainly critics are. In this case, I think Elon's posts were perhaps farther outlier, if that's
such
the
a
right
good
way
point.
to put
He
it.
out-Trumped Trump. Very good point.
Breaking over.
Yeah. So you see that, you heard that. I think that overall, what is obvious here is that the president of the United States being allied with the world's richest man, right? Or put it this way, one of the world's most innovative entrepreneurs, right? I think is a very powerful relationship. I think that the president knows that. I think that Elon Musk, he knows that. And it's just in their best interest, right, for both parties really to fix the relationship. I think the way to fix the relationship is very easy, to be honest with you. One, Elon should give a full-throated apology for what he said, right? Not just I regret some post. Just come out and give a full-throated apology, right? Apologize, make the apology as loud as the accusations. And then after that, I think that President Trump, in order to make it right, I think he should renominate Jared Isaacman to be the administrator of NASA. I think if those two things happen, it's basically going to be a relationship that, for the most part, is fixed. Now, can it be 100% fixed? Are you going to be seeing Uncle Elon and, Elon and President Trump palling around like they were before, going to UFC matches and stuff like that? I'm not sure, right? I'm not sure if we're going to see that, because I'm not sure if I was the president, I would be able to trust Elon Musk 100% to be that close, considering how he lashed out like that. It can be something that he does again, right, if he's not satisfied or if he doesn't get his way. So, you got to be careful, right, when it comes to bringing him back in the fold. But I do think in order to make it right, those two things need to happen. An apology needs to happen. I think Jared Isaacman should be the NASA administrator. I think it was a mistake for President Trump to take back his nomination because of this idea that, he's not loyal enough or whatever. Like, we're talking about the administrator of NASA, right? You want the best person for the job, right? And I think that at the end of the day, Elon, as an advisor, right, if you're going to have him on as an advisor, if he doesn't have say over the NASA administrator, then it's like, why have him as an advisor, right? Is there anybody in Trump's circle that has more expertise when it comes to space, okay, in the direction that NASA should go in than Elon Musk? I mean, come on. I mean, NASA is essentially reliant on SpaceX and Elon Musk, right? Without Elon Musk and SpaceX, NASA is irrelevant, right? I mean, they are completely ineffective for the most part, okay? So, I personally think that this can be fixed. I think it's actually a good thing if Elon isn't so close to the president, because he needs to focus on his businesses. He needs to focus on helping his investors make more money, right? Getting Tesla back on track, continuing to innovate with SpaceX and all the other things he's doing. And President Trump needs to focus on running the country, okay? Both parties here need to focus on what they do best and, just maintain that relationship. Republicans, President Trump, they're definitely going to need Elon's help in the midterms. And I think both parties just understand that, hey, it's better to have this relationship work rather than to be enemies, because being enemies doesn't really benefit anybody except the Democrats, right? It certainly doesn't benefit the country. And I think that's kind of why you're seeing a path towards reconciliation kind of open up here, right? A lot faster than I thought it would, but it's happening because it's the most powerful partnership in the world, and it's just in the best interest of both parties to maintain that. So we'll see, but let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share. A Black Conservative Perspective. Peace.